There's a financial trap that looks exactly like progress. You're saving every month. Your bank balance is growing. You feel responsible, disciplined, on track. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Saving alone is quietly making you poorer every single year. If that sounds impossible, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know the exact path to turn that saved money into money that actually grows. And the mistake that keeps most people stuck on step 1 forever. Why saving alone is a trap? Meet Sarah. She's been saving diligently for 5 years. $30,000 sitting safely in her savings account. She feels secure. She feels smart. But here's what Sarah doesn't realize. Her bank pays her around 1% interest. Inflation, meanwhile, averages around 3 to 4% every year. That means her $30,000 isn't standing still. It's quietly losing buying power every single year, even though the number on the screen never goes down. This is the part that surprises most people. You can do everything right with saving and still fall behind financially. So, if saving isn't the finish line, what actually is? That's exactly what step 1 is about to show you. 1. Know the difference first. Before moving a single dollar, you need to understand the actual difference between saving and investing. Saving is for money you might need soon. Safe, accessible, boring on purpose. Investing is for money you won't touch for years. Money that takes on some risk in exchange for real growth. Here's the psychology behind why people confuse the two. Saving feels safe, so it feels responsible. But keeping investing money in a savings account isn't safety. It's a different kind of risk. The risk of guaranteed loss to inflation. Once you separate these two buckets clearly in your mind, the next step becomes obvious. But most people skip it anyway. 2. Build the foundation for thought. Before you invest a single dollar, build your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting safely in savings. Why does this matter so much? Because without this cushion, one unexpected expense forces you to sell your investments at the worst possible time, often during a market dip. That single forced sale can undo years of growth. This foundation isn't exciting. It's not supposed to be. It's what lets you invest with confidence instead of fear. Once that foundation is solid, here's where most people freeze completely, paralyzed by a question that feels way more complicated than it actually is. 3. Choosing where the money goes. The question everyone gets stuck on, but where do I actually invest? Here's the simplified truth. For most beginners, low-cost index funds are the answer. Why? Because over long periods of time, most professional fund managers fail to beat the market average, which means betting on the entire market instead of trying to pick individual winners usually outperforms most people's attempts to be clever. This is boring. Boring is the point. Boring is what compounds quietly while flashy strategies blow up in the background. But choosing where to invest means nothing if you don't know how to actually move the money. That's the part nobody explains clearly. 4. The actual mechanics. Here's the simple sequence. Open a brokerage account or use your retirement account. Transfer money from savings and set up automatic monthly contributions into your chosen index fund. That's it. That's the entire mechanical process. Here's why automation matters more than people think. Manual investing relies on motivation, and motivation fades. Automatic investing removes the decision entirely, which means it survives your bad days, your busy weeks, your moments of doubt. The amount matters far less than people assume. Consistency is what actually moves the number. But even with automation running, there's one psychological trap waiting for almost everyone within the first few months. 5. Surviving your own emotions. The market will drop. Not might, will. And here's the moment that determines everything. Most people panic, pull their money out, and lock in a loss that didn't have to happen. The psychology here is brutal, but simple. Losses feel far more painful than equivalent gains feel good. That imbalance is exactly what causes people to sell low and buy back in high again and again. The people who actually build wealth aren't smarter during market drops. They're just better at doing nothing. Once you survive your first real drop without touching anything, something shifts. And that shift is the real finish line. Let's bring it together. Understand the difference between saving and investing. Build your emergency cushion first. Choose simple, low-cost index funds. Automate the entire process. And survive your own emotions when the market inevitably drops. This isn't about timing the market perfectly or finding some secret strategy. It's about following this path consistently, long enough for it to actually work. If you are still sitting on savings, wondering when the right time to invest is, this was it. What step are you stuck on right now? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And follow Arahaan Osman, because every week I break down exactly what actually works with money. No fluff, no filters, just the truth. See you in the next one.